Holla for $1, everybody.
This is the second go round.
Yeah.
We were about to start, and then the shit just clicked off.
I was doing the countdown. I said, ready, Cor? 3, 2, 1. And then I clicked hang up by accident. I'm such a dumbass.
There's a special Kyle and Corin coming at you guys.
Because you got a light in front of you?
Well, that fucking thing is... It looks like Jesus... Maybe God is like gleaming over on me for this episode.
I'm telling you, the light looks good. Corin's got a new light in front of him.
I get the ray of light above.
Well, now he's getting annoyed by this ray of light over his head, but tell you the truth, it's always been like that, number one. Number two, nobody fucking recognized it. And now number three, that you pointed it out, now everybody's going to recognize it, and it's going to bother the shit out of them.
Yeah, for real, I know.
But at least you got a nice light in front of you. That's
yeah, that one is nice.
If you can't tell, his lighting is much less dark than usual right now.
Whatchamacallit, this is like a different day for us, because usually we would do the shits on Tuesday nights, it's a special occasion.
You were away this Tuesday. You were in New Orleans, which you released an awesome video about that, by the way. Everybody check that out. Corin's World on YouTube.
I'm still upset at everybody because out of all the viewers for this show, I still only have like 2,500 subscribers, so that means that,
dude, listen,
13,000 people are not.
You get zero sympathy from me. You know how long it took me to get to 2,500 subscribers? I mean, I launched my YouTube channel in 2008. I probably didn't hit 2,500 subscribers until 2013 or 2012.
I know. I'm super grateful. Just that, like you retweet my shit and that you were my boy.
I'm saying I honestly thought even with me retweeting some stuff and whatnot that it would still take a minute to even hit 1,000, but you fucking blew by 1,000 like nothing.
Yeah, and it's like it's crazy because there was someone who commented on one of the videos. I think it was some girl, and I wish I knew her channel page to give her a shout out. But like, she was like, hey, I follow your page. Would you mind just like following my page? I've been doing this for, I don't know, she said like maybe multiple years. And I looked at her page and she just had like some videos of like snow in her backyard and stuff. So it was like nothing crazy. But she seemed like she was all about it. She was giving me like tips on like if you want to post videos, make sure that they're organized in this way. Like, so she knew what she was doing. But she had like, I don't know, she had like 200 subscribers or something like that. And it was just like, damn, like if you don't I'm very fortunate to have you as a friend who already had an established channel, that we have our podcast, that like people know me from it, that I had that opportunity to branch off and start my own shit.
Yeah, I mean, it helps, but you don't give me too much credit. It's not like you haven't been doing this podcast for a long time with me, and it's not like people don't appreciate what you do for what you do, you know? It's not like if you take me out of the equation, those people wouldn't be interested in your shit. I just maybe made it easier for them to find it because they know you through the podcast.
That's a good point.
You know? Like, it's not like they're not interested. In fact, I was thinking about how Molly has, like, almost overnight become, like, an expert fucking video editor. She's really good. Like, the level of editing that she does is like a bunch of other YouTubers who have been doing it for a really long time. Yeah. You know? Meanwhile, then there's me. I just, on my last show, I had a technical problem with the camera. Really? And, like, the camera was more focused in on the background than it was focused on me. So I looked a little bit blurry. It looked like if you were watching me in HD, it looked like I was still in, like, 480, basically. Okay. Like, I was, like, a little bit blurry. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, here I am with this dumb fucking technical problem. And I've been doing this shit since 2008. And then Molly comes along and she learns it like overnight, and you got super perfect. Like that video in New Orleans, I'm telling everybody, check it out. Because you like, it's super well edited, and it's like you're doing a bunch of stuff, and it's you eating all the time. Like, and by the way, when you have a heart attack at like 57, everybody's gonna be like, well, of course he was gonna have a heart attack at 57. The dude eats fried chicken every meal.
The news is gonna be like, this guy had a heart attack, man. I wonder, what he ate or what was the cause of this, and then they'll just go to my YouTube channel and see all the food and be like, have no sympathy for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody, and by the way, there's a recurring comment under your videos where it's like every time you post some shit, people are like, "This is better than anything Kyle has ever done."
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I see him like on every video. Everybody's like, "This is way better than Kyle's channel."
No, but those people are just being stupid. But like, to Molly's point, I give you a lot of fucking credit because like I'll record the video, and sometimes like the sound will be off or something, so I'll try and record it again. So I'll send her. I just airdrop her like all the videos.
Mm-hmm.
So New Orleans, it was like 75 videos.
Oh shit, that's a lot of videos.
Hell yeah, she watched them shits and then like has to like.
She must have left out like half of them.
She left out a good amount of videos, so there's B-roll out there.
Damn.
Of me just like eating chicken or something like that. That like
yeah, but that's what everybody's watching for. I found myself like strangely like super interested in it. I was like watching and I was like, I'm sitting there like, damn, I wonder what they're gonna do next. And then you go and do something else, and I'm like, damn, what are they gonna do next?
The airport story was the wildest thing, man.
I didn't even fully get what you were saying. That like the dude was mad that you dapped somebody up because he thought maybe you were handing something off to him or something.
Not even handing something off. So like the way O'Hare is with their security, you gotta go through, but like when you go through one part, you can sort of connect with like someone who's further back from you, who didn't really get through the whole.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's kind of like that at LAX too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were at that level, and I saw them like it happened at the perfect time. I saw them when I shouldn't have seen them. So I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Boom, and then that motherfucker like legit grabbed me, and then just straight pulled me to the side. Like didn't even say why or like, "Excuse me, you got to go to the back now because for whatever X reasons, this and that." And then he just said like, because you made contact with somebody standing behind you.
That's definitely some rule that was put in there because one time somebody like handed some dude a knife or something. And so ever since that one person did it, now they just assume anybody who, like if that happens, they just assume that it's bad. And then
it's
now,
just such an unnecessary.
Yeah, and that dude was definitely like a by the book dude who did that to you. Like he was looking for excuses to do that to people. That's got to be what it is. But what's crazy? So you were in New Orleans, and then by the way, you say New Orleans or New Orleans? Which one do you say?
I say New Orleans.
Okay, let's go with that. Yeah. You were in New Orleans. People fuck with me when I said, what's the other one that they didn't like that I said? Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon.
You say Oregon. I originally said Oregon. Like Oregon Trail. Oregon.
Did you say aunt or aunt?
I go either way for that. I go aunt or aunt. I feel like aunt. It's more in New York. I feel like it's more aunt. People say aunt more.
Oh, really? No, yeah. I say aunt.
You say aunt? Damn, we were opposites on all that. I was Oregon Trail. That was my original. Yeah. And I'm more likely probably to say aunt. And then, what was the other one we were just talking about?
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans or New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go New Orleans. New Orleans, I mean.
Yeah, that was a combo of both of them.
But the week before that, I was sick as fuck, and I couldn't do a podcast.
Yeah.
I was sick for a while, man. People don't know, because I powered through for the show.
Oh, you still did your show?
Yeah, but I was like weirdly, it started in my throat, and it was really bad. It was like somebody sandpapered the back of my fucking throat, and it was bad. And then it kind of slowly gravitated towards my nose and just congestion. Mm-hmm. And then it went to my head, too.
I'm just picturing something else when you said it started in my throat.
Pause.
Anything else you were saying is just, I'm just envisioning that thing in your throat.
That's terrible. I don't like that.
I hate that because someone doesn't take care of themselves, like coughing and sneezing and all that shit. You get sick because of it.
Well, no, I know why I got sick. Not to throw my little nephews and niece under the bus, but I call myself Uncle Jungle Jim because every time I see them, they climb all over me and I play with them. And but there was this one moment where one of them had their hands over my mouth and my face. And right that moment, I was like, I'm definitely getting sick. Like, there's no doubt I'm getting sick. Yeah. And so I did. I don't know if it's for sure if it's that, but it's probably that. But
100%, yeah.
But yeah, so it was bad. Like, it was weird because during the day, I'd generally be somewhat okay. But I'd still feel it, but not crazy. But always at night and in the morning, it would hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'd be so congested that, like, it was gross. Like, every morning I needed, like, a solid hour to just keep decongesting myself.
Oh.
Yeah, just have to fucking hawk loogies and shit and fucking blow my nose. And it was just, like, a whole process. Like, every morning it was like you just got to take an hour to just keep Because you get it all out, and then 2 seconds later, you're back. And then you get it all out, and then 2 seconds later, it's back. And you're just like, God damn it, I got to try to fucking... And I was drunk on that chloroseptic shit. I had to keep spraying in the back of my throat, the sore throat
does
spray.
That shit help?
Hell yeah, it numbs the back of your throat.
Really?
And when you're like, when you're really sick and it hurts a lot, that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even now, like I'm 99% better. But even now, like I'll wake up and I'll still have, you're still a little bit sick because you have like the yellow mucus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still got a little bit of that, so it's weird.
Sometimes low key that shit feels good to clear your throat and like just like have all that shit and then like spit it out.
Well, yeah, if you actually successfully do it and it doesn't like come back, then hell yeah. But unfortunately, it just kept coming back for me.
Oh,
it was just so
yeah,
it was terrible. But I'm a lot better now.
Yeah. So just New Orleans is like fucking. It's wild that that's a state within the United States, like Louisiana. The fact that like the shit that goes on there of just like being able to like just pull your shirt up and show your boobs on the middle of the street, be able to like walk around with liquor, wide open, cans open, people.
Well, it's like that in Vegas too.
Music.
You could walk with alcohol in the middle of Vegas on the strip.
But Vegas is almost just like a fun world. It's sort of just known that that's just like
Disney World for adults.
Disney World for adults. Like New Orleans, in a sense, is still like a functioning place. Like there's not real shit that goes on in Las Vegas outside of just like gambling and casino life and shows and entertainment.
Yeah.
If it is, it's outside of the strip where like all that is not probably going on with like the glitz and the glam. Like all of New Orleans is just like it's basically like what a state would be if there was like a total like zombie apocalypse. That would be like what a city looked like right when like all the zombies were gone. Like there was some type of policing, but they weren't doing shit. They were letting you do whatever the fuck you want as long as you were civilized and not killing anybody. New Orleans is what the country would look like.
Yeah, I've never been there before.
Oh.
And I never really had it on my list either of like, I definitely want to go to this place.
Yeah, neither did I until I went there, and I'm like, this is somewhere that a lot of people have to go.
Now it's one of your favorite places you've been to?
It's pretty good, man. Like I wasn't into Nashville and their jazz music, their like country music and all that shit. But I'm sort of really into jazz and just like that whole vibe of like, good like sax. Like when someone's killing it on the saxophone, I think that's my favorite type of music when there's just
damn.
like, yeah.
That's out of left field too, because you never, when we were younger, it's not like you loved jazz back then.
Not really, but like there's a lot of like techno-y songs now that I'll listen to that like has a good ass beat, and then like if a crazy saxophone comes in and just starts like killing it, I just like zone out and like it's like it's corny, but like you feel that music in your body more, and maybe it helps that like I had a lot of drinks in me. And,
yeah,
like, that's
nice. Probably a big part of it, but I'm sure there is something to that either way, because I always felt like that with R&B more than anything.
Yeah.
R&B, I always felt like that. Like, oh shit, like I could feel that music more than any other music.
Yeah, I guess because, I mean, like you could really, I think there's a connection with the singer really being passionate about like, the shit he's singing. I
don't even know if I agree with that. I feel like it's more about the rhythm and the beat and the vibe that you get from it. Like, if you got like the music itself is on point, the person doesn't even need to be making sense, because I don't know the words to half the fucking songs I love.
Oh yeah, neither do I.
But like I still fuck with the song because I like the sound of it. So they could be singing like diarrhea in your face, bitch. And if it matches with the music nicely, and if the way they're singing is nice, it just clicks, and you're like, oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, if there's a good beat to it, then you don't need good lyrics at all. And that's what all these rap songs are now, is just like a good ass beat that you could dance to.
Yeah, that shit that I tweeted the other day.
What was?
There's this video of Bernie from like the 1980s dancing, like in a studio.
I listened to it with no sound. Was there music to it?
Oh, you didn't see it? Oh, you fucked up. Yeah, I did a bunch of them.
Sound.
I tweeted a bunch of them with different music from today.
No, I didn't see it.
It was so fucking funny. One of them I did was Percocet. Molly Percocet.
He was dancing to that?
I put that in the background for him to dance to it. And that's like such a perfect example of one of those songs where it didn't even matter what the fuck he was saying. It was just like the vibe and the beat, and it's it just hits you like, oh, this is a chill ass song.
He's so gangster. Like I just saw today he like hit his head into a shower wall.
I just heard about that. Yeah, I just heard about that.
On tour with like some big ass like bandage on his fucking head, and he's still just like getting his point across.
They better not try to use that shit against him. I could see them using that against him.
No, the article I saw was positive. It was like he got 7 stitches, but the doctor said he's got a clean bill of health. Like, so like they were trying to say like that he's healthy, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like there's going to be like corporate Democrats who are like, he's already walking into shit. He obviously is not fit to be president.
Yeah, he was on the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne the God was trying to play him like...
I know, on reparations, he was trying to play him. Meanwhile, Charlemagne, who I usually like, he gave Kamala Harris a total pass on
really?
on the issue of marijuana. Kamala Harris in either 2012 or 2014, I think it was 2014, she was told, your Republican opponent supports the legalization of marijuana. Do you? And she laughed. She was like... She was laughing at the idea of legalizing marijuana. And then Charlemagne brought up to her, oh, your opponents say you're not in favor of legalizing marijuana. And she was like, they're wrong. Yes, I am. And he was like, I know. Like, what do you mean you know? Yeah, that's fucking not true. Why don't you hold, like, at least hold her accountable and say, well, hold on now. It wasn't even that long ago that you said that, you know, that shit should be illegal and you were laughing at the idea of legalizing it. What made you change your mind? Is it just that you're running for president and you want to fucking try to hop on the bandwagon? Because that's the reality of it, Charlemagne. He really pissed me off with that because he's better than that. And then, it
seemed like he had his facts with Bernie a little bit more. Where like,
no, he didn't. He was fucking misstating shit left and right. Like on the reparations thing. Like the reparations thing, there was Kamala Harris and Kirsten Gillibrand, I think, and Cory Booker. A few of them came out and said, oh, I'm for reparations. And then you looked at their plan.
What are reparations?
Reparations is basically payments to the descendants of slaves.
Oh, shit.
Like saying like the government fucked you over and fucked your family over, and here's some compensation for that, basically.
Okay.
So, but when you look at what they were proposing, they called it reparations, but it wasn't reparations. It was some other shit. One of them was like baby bonds. Another one was like targeted tax credits or something. So it wasn't reparations, but they called it reparations. And when Charlemagne was acting like, you know, like, oh, Bernie's the only candidate that doesn't support reparations, what the fuck are you talking about? None of them support old school classic reparations, okay? None of the viable candidates support the old school classic idea of reparations. But somehow Bernie's the only one who's getting shit for that, and all the others are getting a pass, and they're acting like, you know, they do support it when they don't. And that's the shit that pissed me off. And then furthermore, it's hilarious because obviously when you look at Bernie Sanders' platform, he's got the best platform for people of color, and they're trying to paint him like, oh, he's out of touch with people of color.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, what have you done for people of color? Or give an example.
Fucking marched with Martin Luther King.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, it's almost just like, what do you know about basketball? Where did you learn? It's like, oh, I only trained with Michael Jordan for 5 years, you know, or like.
Exactly. Yo, that is such a good point. That's the best point I've ever heard right there. No, you just killed it with that point. Because that never crossed my mind, but the way you put that is perfect. It's like, oh, what do you know about basketball? What have you ever done in terms of basketball? I just played with Jordan for like 3 or 4 years, but like, but the thing is, Bernie won't say that because Bernie's too good of a person, and he doesn't want to like, you know, shut it down and really like he doesn't. He knows how that would look if he were to like start bragging about that, because then like when other people do it, people go after them for saying that. Like people will come after you if they hear that and be like, oh, so out of touch. Like, what do you mean that's out of touch? It's fucking factually true. The guy obviously gives a shit about these issues more than any other candidate.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that, like, we're presented with the real deal Holyfield. Like, this is the real deal dude who's going to change the country and fight in every way, shape, and form for the people. And then you got a bunch of idiots who undermine the fuck out of that and try to act like he's not the real candidate who's going to bring change.
Yeah, that it seemed like they were trying to get after him a little bit. But Bernie, I respect that he just like stood his ground, said the shit that he wanted to say, and then at the end even they asked about like the Robert Kraft shit. And like in those type of interviews, like you can't really like you can't speak for a long, you know, you can't really get your point across because it's just quick sound bites. Like you're there for an hour or something. So she tried to ask him that shit at the end real quick about like the prostitution, and he was gangster. He was just like, I see both sides to it, you know, like.
That upset me though. I wish he was like, let's legalize it. But again, I feel like it's much more difficult. Props to Kamala on that actually, because she did say, oh, we should decriminalize sex work.
Oh,
and
really?
My opinion on this is, honestly, the only people right now who are going to get away with that, and what I mean by get away with it is not have the media shit on them, is a female candidate. Only a female candidate could say, we should legalize, tax, and regulate sex work. If a male candidate says it, even though it's not the case, but they will be painted by mainstream media as like a horn dog. Like, oh, you just want to fucking fuck women and fucking pay for it, and like this has nothing to do with like policy substance. It has to do with which is what you want. And that's if Bernie said that, like, I think we should legalize sex work, there would be like 1,000 hit pieces the next day.
Yeah.
But when Kamala said it, no, the media didn't shit on her. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Credit to her, but I wish that even the male candidates would do it, but I understand why they don't do it, because we're not at that point yet in society where they feel like they could say that and get positive coverage. It's kind of like with drugs. Like right now, you can get away with saying let's legalize weed, but if they were to say let's legalize any other drugs, the media would not respond kindly.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like Bernie's always been the type to, if he genuinely felt like prostitution should be legal, and he 100% was just like, no, it should be legal, and like really forcefully got behind it, then people don't really start to fuck with him on it. And that's when like he's the trendsetter on that shit. Like, so I think he definitely has some strong arguments on the other side.
I think among the people, you're right. Among the people, but the corporate media would bash him for it.
You think?
100% the media would bash him, but I think people would agree with him. Regular people would be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I actually don't think he has a strong opinion on this, though, either. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has a strong opinion on this. There's a lot of people who are lefties who are not for decriminalizing sex work. You have like Chris Hedges is one example, Noam Chomsky even. Like,
I don't know what their argument on the other side, like, do you know any of their arguments on the other side of it?
I think their argument goes like this. The only reason anybody would be willing to work in that kind of an industry is basically because there's no other options available to them, and they feel like they have to sell their bodies in order to pay the bills. So nobody goes into that really out of choice. They go into it because basically our economy is so fucked up and it thrives on exploiting people. So the idea is, let's get rid of the exploitation in our economy, and then that wouldn't exist. Like nobody would voluntarily want to get fucked by strangers, basically, if you get rid of the exploitation that led to that point. I think that's what their argument is. I don't think I'm misstating it, but my counter argument to that has always been that they're buying into a premise of like sex being like immoral and as if nobody would actually choose that, when I think people, even given all things being equal, there are going to be some percentage of people, guy and girl, who are like, I'm fine with fucking for a living.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think that they're a little naive in the sense that they kind of agree with the religious right wing on the issue of sex, where they have this underlying thing about it, like it's icky and it shouldn't be like commercialized spoken or whatever.
About, yeah.
But I do think it's a very conservative belief overall, And by the way, the main reason I think for decriminalizing it is that it makes it so much safer. Like right now, you have prostitutes, where it's illegal. They're like they have fucking pimps.
Ring or something.
Yeah, there's like pimps who are fucking vicious, and then there's unsafe working conditions, and they're on the streets, and there's STDs transferring, and there's fucking violence associated with that industry because it's ripe for exploitation because it's underground
heroin and stuff. Like
all these problems. But meanwhile, wherever it's legal, you have a giant decrease in crimes, in STDs. You have an increase in safety.
Yeah, it's more regulated.
Yeah, so just like basically, reality is that stuff is part of human nature. And you either have it on the black market and dangerous, or you have it in the sunlight and you have it legal and safe. So I think that's the way to do it. But I think that Bernie is kind of torn between those two arguments, genuinely. I think he's like, I don't want anybody to have to fucking be a prostitute, Like he doesn't want that, because I think he thinks of himself. Well, we think of him as like he's the dad. You know what I mean? Like he's the country's dad. Like he's like trying to like, I know what's right for you. I know you might not understand it now, but I'm going to help you.
And he also grew up probably like in his primetime years. That's probably when like prostitution and stuff was like the worst. So he probably saw some bad shit with drugs and pimps going on because like he was growing up in that time when like New York City pimps were like the stronghold of everything, you know? So it was like, bitch, really better have my money. And Bernie was like shook about that shit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if he saw it firsthand, then that could shape his worldview where he's like, damn, I just don't think that this kind of stuff should be around. But again, at the same time, it was illegal, and that's probably why it was so shitty.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, did you see the horrendous terror attack that happened the other day?
Yeah, I didn't see much about it. I don't know. I mean, like I know someone shot up like a Islamic mosque or some shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks for New Zealand because like my first thought was just like that stuff really doesn't happen there that often. So if someone did have like a higher powered machinery gun and went into like some spot, it would take a lot longer for them, like police wise, to diffuse the situation because it's like they can't compete against that type of like ammunition, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
like who knows if New Zealand cops even like carry guns on them? Maybe they just have.
That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I think that New Zealand actually has relatively lax gun laws.
Yeah,
because they were talking about in the wake of it. There was talk already about the gun laws, like we got to tighten them up a little bit and all that. But the numbers were crazy, dude. 49 people were massacred.
Yeah, and a lot more were injured too, right?
And then a lot more were injured too. And then the dude who did it apparently
was a Trump supporter, right?
I don't know about that, but he could have been. I'm not sure, but he was basically just like super radicalized online. Mm-hmm. And his manifesto was just like fucking meme after meme after meme. Like he was
What type of memes?
Like the alt-right shit.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. So he probably I thought I heard that he was like encouraged by Trump or something, or it was sparked by Trump and the whole racist like agenda that he has like triggered this guy.
He mentioned PewDiePie at one point.
Really?
At the end of it or something. He mentioned, like he said, subscribe to PewDiePie or something, and then PewDiePie, of course, came out and was like, this breaks my heart, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe my name was in his mouth. My heart goes out to the victim.
What type of shit does he talk about?
I mean, he's a gamer. He's like a YouTube
okay.
gamer. But there's been like a lot of controversy recently because people are saying that he's like, I got a bug in here. People are saying he's been like flirting with the alt-right recently or something.
Oh.
I never watched PewDiePie, so I don't know enough to comment on it.
It's just so random, like to name some random ass gamer at the end of like your suicide note. That's like,
well, that's my point. Is that like when you read through,
watch Tommy's Toy Chest.
This kid is 28 years old, and when you read through, like I read through like the cliff notes of.
Oh, I can't even read that shit.
His manifesto, and it was all like just really extremely online type shit. Like he was big into like ethno-statism, like ethno-nationalism. Like he wants like a white ethno-state.
Yeah.
He believed in like what did they call it? Right-wing accelerationism, I think they called it, which is like cause as much fucking havoc as possible, and then like just cause as much chaos as possible to get us to like a breaking point, and then when we get to the breaking point, the rise of the right takes over, and then they implement these insane ethno-nationalist policies where like only white people are allowed in the country or whatever. Like he genuinely despised like all immigrants and fucking Muslims and other religions, and he was all about that white nationalism.
Is he dead? Did he?
No, I think he's alive.
Wow.
And then people were saying that New Zealand doesn't have the death penalty. So no matter what, he won't be killed.
That's insane. Why every like mass shooter, like a white mass shooter manages to like fucking scathe free, and
Dylan Roof is the best example of that.
That was the one who got the Burger King.
They gave him Burger King after he finished like massacring however many people at a black church, historic black church.
Oh, wasn't he named as one of the people that there was someone? Oh,
he may have been named. You're talking about in the manifesto of this new killer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Anders Breivik.
Maybe.
Anders Breivik was named. He's the guy who shot up like the young socialist summer camp or something in Norway, I think it was.
I don't even know that. But it's It's so sad. And I saw on Twitter there was a lady from New Zealand who was like helping people like after they got shot, and she spoke to one guy who needed to use the phone and like told his wife you know, to meet him at the hospital because you're not going to be able to get over here with all the cars. And it's just like the reporter that was interviewing her was just like, you're a hero, you know, like this is incredible. And she was just like, no, like, you know, you do stuff in situations to help people. And it just like, it's just unreal because it's like, you hope that you'll never experience some shit like that. But like the way shit is going, like it's there's a fucking chance that shit's going to happen to someone just going to a mall or fucking getting your oil changed or something, you know, like this is the reality of like this shit. There's probably a better chance of this shit happening to like someone you know than not now because it's just the fucking norm. Like this shit is just happening all the time.
We have friends who went to like Binghamton and there was a shooting at Binghamton.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, so my sister's friend actually like worked right next to that. Like it was like I don't know. Well, it was like a Planned Parenthood. Not. It was some type of.
Oh, is that a Planned Parenthood in Binghamton?
Yeah, it wasn't at the campus. It was like right off campus at like some I don't know what type of building shit it was, but like I've actually like parked on that street before, and when I went back up, like, and it's just scary because in that situation the guy like blocked the his car blocked like the front doors, and it's just like it's wild because anywhere you go now you just don't fucking know. Like I'm on a busy train every morning, and then we get into the train station and it's just like a bunch of people packed in like sardines, and it's just like it's scary to think about, man, because I saw that lady and it just fucking connected with me. I was just like, damn, like that's some shit that, you know, she woke up and she never thought that shit would be happening, you know? And she was just like, I don't know how this is happening in New Zealand, you know? Like,
how does somebody get to that point? You know, like, how does somebody get to that point where they have a gun and it's loaded and they're driving and they're on their way to do, like, the worst thing that any human being could ever do? How do they get to that point? Like, that's the thing. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. Like, I don't have that gear. You know, like, you know how there's so much variation in human beings, and like some people just have that gear, that scary gear in their brain.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only thing that I kept thinking was like, on some level, this person, all these mass shooters and these terrorists, they have to be miserable, right? Like, don't they have to be on some level incredibly
100%.
Miserable? Because how can you, if there's like, in my mind, there's so much. Even if I'm in a bad mood, there's still so much to look forward to, you know? Like, there's so much.
I think there's different levels to it. Like, I'll get into arguments with Molly, and recently we haven't gotten to too many, but, like, there's been times, and me personally, not that I'm perfect, but, like, when I get mad, I can realize that I'm getting mad, and maybe I'll have aggression, and I'll scream or something like that, or I'll just be very angry. But I can always come to a point where I'm just like, all right, don't hit someone, don't like, you know, break anything, don't do anything super excessive. Like that's my line. But her line is a little further than mine. Like, so she'll get mad and she'll always walk upstairs and she'll slam the door really hard. So like I know it's coming. It's like a buildup. One time she threw like, I think it was like a glass or something, not a glass, but she threw some shit at the wall. Like around where I was sitting. So I was like, all right, maybe that's her line. Because that's the worst she's like done.
That's OD. Like, Molly, reel it in. Molly, reel it in.
She's a black belt. So she's got that fire in her. But I think people have different levels. And like, those people have like extreme levels of like, fucking just rage in them that like lets out with the worst act of fucking shit that anybody could do, which is a shooting, you know?
It's still hard for me to wrap my mind around though, because I could see even that extreme example that you gave.
Yeah.
I can still somewhat see that. Like I can still see that somewhat because like in other words, I don't look at that and go, that's totally foreign to me. Like, there is a conceivable circumstance. Like, I've been mad sometimes and my face gets fucking bright red and I'll fucking hit something really hard. Like, I'll hit my fucking bed or I'll hit a fucking wall or something and I'm just super pissed, you know? But that level, like, the amount of planning that goes into doing something like this dude did. The amount of planning that goes into that. And
do you think there's planning, or is it just buy a gun?
It's got to be planning, dude. You went fucking there. You walked into a mosque and fucking got killed in cold blood 49 people. The fact that you had to grab the gun, load it, and then you went blank there for a second.
Yeah, same with you.
Grab the gun, load it, and then you have to take a fucking car ride. Who knows how long that car ride was for him? But even if it was only 10 minutes, like that 10-minute car ride. He has to have like fucking the dead shark eyes where there's nothing going on. And
you know what I think about is just like what if like that car ride, all the people that he passed driving to that spot, or like if he like all these videos, the scariest thing to me outside of like the actual tragedy is watching like the shit they do right before it. So like 9/11, you see the people going through the security terminals and shit like that. So like. There had to have been a TSA person that morning. They're like, "Hey, have a good day, sir." You know, like, or like, "Hey, how are you?" You know, "Oh, raining outside," and like didn't get a response from them or some shit. Like, those people did some regular ass shit, like leading up to that event, knowing that I don't know what the right word is, cultivation or culminating event or whatever at the end was going to be some brutal shit. You know, like that guy in Vegas. Checked into his hotel. The receptionist person was like, "Hey, sir, welcome to the Wynn. How you doing? You playing some poker?" And like he had to be like, "Yeah, yep." Like that's the shit that's fucking
because at no point did anything apparently give these people pause. There was no like humanization. Like if that dude who was driving when he committed this massacre, if he looked to his left and he saw like a couple little kids in a car. And, like, they were smiling at him and making faces and, doing that in the window or whatever. Would that have been enough to break the fucking thing in his head to where he wouldn't do it? Because my guess is no. Because if you get to that point where you're even consider doing what he did, it's like you're so far gone. It's honestly, so far gone. It's almost like that is some, like, legit demon possession type shit. Like, obviously demons don't exist, and I'm not saying it's literal. But I'm saying that that's the equivalent of that in terms of it's like mind shut off. And I'm just going to go and do the worst thing that any human being could possibly do. And then on top of that, the dude literally thought he was a hero, man. Like, he left this message to his whatever on 8chan or whatever the fuck it's called. And in that message, he said, like, he was talking about, like, you guys are the best, friends that anybody could have. And I'm doing this for the future of our children. Talking, of course, about white people because he's a fucking, basically a Nazi. And then... he really thought, like he said at the end, like, if I don't survive this, I'll see you in Valhalla. And Valhalla is like if you ever watched Vikings, apparently that was the religion. That was like the pagan.
Oh, not like Valhalla, New York.
No,
right?
no. That's like it's like the pagan idea of heaven, basically. They call it Valhalla or whatever. And like paganism or some similar religion, I guess, is this new thing that white nationalists are into. So. He's talking about this stuff like, I'll see you guys in Valhalla, and he's talking about how it's time to act and we have to act. So the dude obviously like thought he was a fucking hero, and he's talking about like these religious beliefs of like we're gonna get to the next world together, and all of us white people will fucking be together, and it's just the level of delusion, and it's just you're so far gone and so out of this world, and that mentality is something that I just can't wrap my mind around that somebody could get to that point and do those kinds of things. You know? And how could that just be from... Because, again, he got radicalized online. That seems pretty clear. Like, it was all his experiences online and fucking shit posting. He literally talks about shit posting culture. He did, like, in his manifesto, there's, like, a lot of memes and fucking shit posting. So the dude was obviously radicalized online. But how could it be that this dude gets radicalized just from being online and reading that shit? Meanwhile, it's not like you and me have never seen... like the alt-right shit posting, and we look at
all that shit,
and we're like, this shit is stupid. Like, that didn't connect with me or click with me at all. I look at it like, this is just dumb. But that dude apparently looked at it and thought like, oh, this is great, and everything they're saying is true. And
look at the guy in Florida who fucking put all that shit on his car, like all those stickers and Trump shit. The guy in Florida?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the guy who...
It's just these people are just ultimate losers who like need something to buy into. Like that guy in New Zealand is just they're losers, and they've never been accepted by society. They've never tried to probably have a connection with a girl or something like that. And this is what happens. They find something that's false or that, is a lie, and they relate to it, because they connect with that like false message.
How can I think you're right, and that makes a lot of sense, but the thing that drives me crazy is how did they get to the point where even if they buy into the lie, like, okay, so you bought into a lie, and there's honestly not much harm in that unless you get to the point where you hurt other people. It's like people who buy into like Mormonism or some shit, and then they just are just friendly to people, even though they believe in Mormonism and it's goofy, but like they're just friendly people. Like, why to get to the point where you're going to do some harm to other people is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, like even like on my level, like I'm very passionate about CrossFit, and it's just like in a sense that shit is like some type of cult, It's like I'll talk to people about it and like be like, oh, it's great, it's good for you, but like it'll never get to a point where like if the coach was just like, all right, now we're all gonna go down to the city today and just start beating people up because we're strong and that's what CrossFitters do, and it's like I'd be like, no. But there's a lot of people who are into the class that much that are so passionate about it that they would think like, oh, is the next step of CrossFit like to just beat people up now? Because like,
what percentage of people do you think would be like that? Okay, I'm down. Let's go do it.
I mean, in the CrossFit world, people are like gullible. People buy into that shit.
But and how high do you think that number could be? I think what are you gonna have? Maximum 25% of people say, all right, let's go fuck somebody up.
Well, like, but I mean, if you were taught golf your whole life and like it was just an ever, like, they just kept sort of throwing in little tidbits since you were a kid. Like, all right, you play golf, and then when you're done with that last hole, you take your golf club and you whack it over the person you're playing with's head. And like you learn that from when you're a little kid, and then like little pieces, and you keep growing up, and then it's just like, all right, now you kill your opponent or something. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You're saying that people could be brainwashed into doing terrible shit.
Yes, it's got to be like small steps.
Yeah, but my point is like so many people who are in that world don't do terrible shit, and then every now and then somebody does, and it's like, is it just because that dude's wiring was off? Like, what is it that made that dude fucking do this? Like, and I mean this for every one of these attacks, whether it's a terrorist attack or whether it's a mass shooting, or in this case it was basically a white supremacist terror attack. Like, are all of them just fucking hardwired wrong and just ticking time bombs? You know what I mean? And then they find some excuse to do it no matter what? Whether they, like, if this dude didn't find white supremacy, would he have just done a mass shooting not attached to any ideology at some point? Like, is that the way it works? Or is it specifically because he got mired in this world of white supremacy, which kind of led him to do the fucked up thing that he did?
I don't know. I mean, I think to your point, I think there's just like demon people out there that like are willing to do the fucking most extreme shit. These are these people that do these mass shootings and stuff. I got a question for you. And I saw a fucking dickhead Donald Trump Jr. tweeting about this shit. Like, don't say his name. Don't report on the story. Don't talk about it.
We already know why they're doing this.
Because it gets tied back to them, right? Like,
well, yeah, because this is an incident of a dude who's like a white supremacist, far right-wing terrorist.
Yeah.
So obviously all the people on the right are like, oh, don't talk about his motive, don't say his name, because that's what he wants, and we can't do what he wants. And so that's their approach when this happens. Now, when you flip the script, and it's a situation where it's like, a Muslim fundamentalist terrorist,
or a black guy, or Spanish,
or a black guy does a shooting or something, then people on the left will be like, oh, don't say their name, don't say what their motive is, because that's what they want. So it's a lot of there's just so much stupidity in the political world.
If it was
so
a Spanish immigrant or something, Trump would be like, look, this guy shouldn't have been in the country. This is his name. We got to kick out all of that.
Exactly. Fucking Ben Shapiro said the same shit. He was like, don't say his name. Don't do, like, he said that shit. And then people were pulling up like tweets of him when it was a Muslim dude and he was saying his name and he was saying what his fucking motive was. And they're just hypocrites, man. I think
I saw that Shapiro thing, and one of the first comments or something like that was like, Ben, he probably got his motives and like was a fan of your show or something like that.
Well, one of them at the Quebec Mosque was a Ben Shapiro fan.
Really?
Yeah, there was a dude who did a shooting at the Quebec Mosque, and then that dude apparently was a big-time Ben Shapiro fan. Right. And then Ben Shapiro was like, I don't think he really acknowledged it in any serious way. Like, he wasn't like, oh, that's really fucking gross, and I don't know how to grapple with this. He just kind of bulldozes forward anyway, you know?
Yeah. It's a fucking sad situation, man, and it sucks and it's scary. You know what I think is always weird outside of like a mass shooting and stuff like that? Like when I'm walking somewhere, like down a street, and like I wake up at whatever time I wake up, like 6:05 or something like that. I shower and do whatever I'm doing, like get dressed, eat breakfast, and then I'll like travel to a location like an hour later or something like that. And then when I'm crossing the street and like you interact like with someone, like they have to like move out of their way because you're in the, that to me is wild. That like at that time, like 10:37 or something like that, me and this other person who started their morning and some other shit are now physically like our lives have just come together because like we're at the same exact spot at the same exact time. You get what I'm saying a little bit?
I do get what you're saying, and that's a good.
I just think it's weird.
That's an interesting thought to have because it shows that you're perceptive and cognizant of other people's perspective and their perception.
Yeah.
Because to think about that means you're thinking about how that dude has a life, that dude has a house or an apartment he lives in, that dude has a family or a girlfriend or whatever. That
like
dude,
he woke up, brushed his teeth, did all of his shit, and then
dog,
and then at that same time, like he had to move out of his way a little bit because I was in his way a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of overwhelming when you really stop and think about how everybody on this planet is their own individual. Like if somehow it was possible to make a movie about every individual person, like a documentary about every individual person, I'm willing to bet with a good like director, you can make anybody's life seem really, really, really interesting. Even somebody's life who's like seems kind of mundane, you know, because they got some shit that impacted them big time. Some shit, whatever it may be. You know, their mom got sick when they were younger. You know, they had their heart broken in fucking
everybody's got a story.
9th grade. Yeah, they fucking got injured in a car crash and fucking as a junior in high school. They went through a phase where they were like a drug addict or something and their life went off the rails and then they somehow got it back. Like every single person out there listening to this right now could stop and think and go, yeah, I have had some things happen that are kind of wild that, you know, other people would think are interesting. So when you think about the fact that there's 7 billion people on the planet right now, like that's 7 billion insanely complex and intricate stories.
Yeah, and it's wild.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just look at it like I look at just my life, but like then when someone spotted me in New Orleans, I was like, wow, like this kid has had his whole life doing shit, you know, and like. I don't know. It's just fucking weird to me. It's wild.
You got spotted twice, by the way. Corin is now officially famous.
Yeah, the first two, Brady, that was my guy, man. That was cool. I was on the corner.
Who you called Brody like 8 times.
I could have swore his shit. I could have swore he said Brody. But he was doing like the pedal carring shit. So I got mad respect for him. Like he's just in New Orleans, like hustling, like, and it's like a couple will sit on the back of the car, of the bike shit. And like he just pedals them around New Orleans. Probably gives them like a tour or some shit, you know?
Yeah. So there's him, and then do you remember the other one?
I don't remember the other kid's name, but he commented on one of my videos. So it's like it might be Sammy. Actually,
but you took pictures and then you retweeted them, and then I retweeted them, and
yeah, they tweeted him out. I retweeted him. You retweeted him, like, and it was just like they were big fans of yours too.
Corin texted me after both of them and was like, "Yo, I got recognized again."
The second time was wild because we were just walking on the sidewalk and the kid was coming out. I think it's Sammy, but it might be like John or some shit. I don't know where I got Sammy, but he was coming out of his building, and he had like his girlfriend probably next to him and some other girl. So I like turned my head to the left. And I thought he was going to be like, yo, stop looking at my girlfriend or some shit.
You always, every single time somebody notices you, you always think like something bad is going to happen. And then they're always like, yo, I love your shit.
Yeah. Molly thought that like I was standing in the crosswalk or some shit. And he was trying to say like back up or something.
Yo, you always think something's wrong. Corin does.
I'm telling you, if you went somewhere, you'd fucking get. It'd be crazy how many people like spotted you for some shit. You'd have the same reaction though. I feel like. I mean,
of course I would. No, I would. I would.
You'd think like, oh shit, my bad. Like I'm in the way or something, or like, and they'd be like, no, like you're Kyle, and then you'd have to be like, oh fuck, I am Kyle. You know,
it's so funny because my hobbies generally put me in a place where nobody recognizes me. Like everybody knows I love golf, and let's face it. Like, golf courses are usually filled with old Republicans. So I go there and they don't know me. They have no idea who I am.
Yeah, but you'd get spotted in New Orleans because you like titties, you like beer, you like music. So, like, you'd be doing shit that everybody likes.
Oh, my God. I actually played golf once with a dude who didn't notice me, but he was a famous political guy, too. And then when somebody else who knows what I do brought that up to him, he was really interested in it. There's a guy, what's his name? I think his name is like, hold on, let me look it up. Ed Klein?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Isn't that the person who died?
No. He's alive, this guy.
Oh.
Let me see. Hold on. No, it's not Ed Klein. I'm sorry. It's something else Klein.
Those are my worst type of fucking people, though. Like, I hate those people that, like, until you're of value until you're of value to them, then they'll like care about you, you know? So like, I don't know if that guy was a dick before or not, but like,
no, he's just a regular dude, and he just likes Joe Klein. Klein. He
but he might have not been fucking with you until whoever mentioned some shit, and then he was just like, oh shit, yeah, hey, but like,
no. Okay, so the situation is like this. I didn't fucking notice him either.
Oh,
I didn't know him because he's an old generation. Here, let me see. I'll read you a little bit from his Wikipedia so you get a sense of the... He was born in 1946. He's a political columnist for Time magazine, and he's known for his novel Primary Colors, an anonymously written something portraying Bill Clinton's first presidential campaign. Klein is currently a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. So basically, like, this dude, he's written for the New York Times, the New Republic, Washington Post, Rolling Stone. So he's been a big-time prolific writer, okay? Uh-huh. And I would say he's like a centrist kind of Democratic character, basically. But I didn't recognize him. And somebody who I was playing with was like, "Oh, that guy's a big political writer. He's Joe Klein." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I looked him up. And then one day I happened to be paired with him, and I was playing golf with him. And then I said to him, "Joe?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm Joe Klein. Nice to meet you." I was like, "I'm Kyle Klinsky. We have something in common. We, because he had done Politicon, I think, once or twice before.
We both like big booty bitches."
Imagine he's like, "Oh, you like that too?"
Imagine you just said some shit like out of left field. You're like, "Joe Klein?" Yep. We both like them fat asses.
So he was like, I was like, "We have something in common. You're a political writer, I'm a political commentator," or something like that. And then come to find out, he was at Politicon for a bunch of years. I think 1 year he debated Ann Coulter. And this was right before I was supposed to debate Ann Coulter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. You debated her. I'm about to debate her." This was before she dropped out, of course.
Yeah.
But it was kind of crazy how we crossed paths like that. But bottom line is, I didn't recognize him. He didn't recognize me. We need other people to kind of say it. And then we pieced it together a little bit.
Was he cool, though?
Yeah, he was cool. He was all right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure, like, there was some things he said, like, he defended Obamacare to me when I said we should do Medicare for all. Uh-huh. He was like, "Well, I like Obamacare," and he kind of, like, mounted a defense of Obamacare. So he's like an old-school centrist Democrat, basically.
Yeah.
So, and that's not, I'm a populist left Bernie Sanders social democracy guy, so we're not going to agree, but it was just kind of interesting how we both didn't recognize each other.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the type of guy, but there are people that, like, they won't talk to you or won't say anything to you, and then you'll be like, "Oh, this guy is whatever, got a big following, this and that," and then all of a sudden they want to fuck with you, you know?
Yeah, but that's most people. I mean, I feel like that's just because they're curious, just what's going on. Like, most people are minding their business and it's just whatever. They're not to be bothered. But then if somebody, it's almost like having a hype man. Like if somebody tells them like, "Oh shit, that's," everybody's gonna be like, "What?"
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like if there's a hype man and he's hyping you, then of course somebody's gonna get hype and gonna be like, oh shit, what, really?
Yeah, that's a good ass point. I mean, I don't know. I've always looked at it differently. I'll fucking talk to the janitors and like the fucking, whatever people.
Well, that's why your channel's good, because you're just doing your thing and you're curious about talking to regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
That doesn't bother me. Like I said, when I play golf, nobody really notices me there, so I get a skewed perception of how much I would be recognized.
Yeah,
true. If I'm in New York City in the middle of the day, or if I'm in fucking New Orleans in the middle of the day, I'll probably get recognized because it's there's a lot of normal, regular, younger people there,
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't get a vibe that people were super nice in New Orleans, which was surprising. I thought they were going to be a lot nicer, but people were...
Probably a lot of tourists there, right? That's what I would guess.
There are a good amount of tourists. A lot of just like street performers and like just people playing music on corners and like weird, like guys getting out of straitjackets on ladders and juggling and shit. Yeah, it was just random.
Yeah, I saw that in your video. You were helping a guy. Imagine that dude fell. You would have been like shook as fuck.
I know. Like he had some guy that looked like a straight crackhead who was like his assistant, and the guy was like, "Just don't move your foot." And I was like, okay." He was like, "Yeah, just don't move your foot until he tells you to move your foot." I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to move my foot. And then, like, he starts doing his fucking bouncing act on the ladder. He's like, all right, move your foot. I move my foot, and then he starts, like, doing it more.
Oh, shit.
But
you thought he was going to fall for a second?
Well, I had, like, sort of new shoes on, so I was a little tight because, like, his ladder was fucking wedging into that shit. So I was about to move my foot. Imagine I just moved my shit. But, like, no, I wasn't nervous he was going to fall, but, like, it was super windy, and, like, there was times where I thought that he was going to, like, fucking either drop his sword or, like, I don't know. It was cool, though. I definitely, New Orleans was a good-ass time.
I didn't see you until...
The chicken out there was so fucking phenomenal.
I didn't see you until Molly put the arrow.
Helping him?
I didn't see you helping him until Molly put the arrow.
Yeah, Molly's going to get mad at me, but she told me to watch the video, and I watched, like, 20 minutes of it, and I didn't finish it.
Finish watching it, son. Why wouldn't you watch it?
I can't watch like my video. Like,
no, I feel you on that, because the last thing I like doing is watching my shit.
It's tough, and she says like that's how you get better. Like I think my last video I just posted today, so go check that shit out. I was talking to my brother. Like I think I did an okay job, but like I just don't want to sit there and rewatch some shit that like I did. Like,
yeah, no, I hear you on that for sure. I don't like watching my shit.
You know?
Yeah, I don't like watching my shit. Maybe there was a time when I did. Actually, I don't even know about that, but now I definitely don't like watching it. It's just that's you. You know what you did, and you don't want.
Yeah, I know what I said. Yeah. And if I didn't like what I said at one point or something, I gotta hear it again.
Yeah, you can't fix it. There's nothing you could do now.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Did you see the Russell Westbrook thing that happened the other day?
Yeah, that fucking fan is an asshole, and he straight up lied to a reporter, like saying that like he just said to him like, you better ice your knees. And
what did he actually say to him?
He said get back on your knees or something like that, or
like
stay on your knees
like you used to. Yeah, I think I heard this. Get on your knees like you used to. Is that a gay thing or is that a racist thing?
I think
Russell Westbrook said it was racist.
Yeah, I think it's more a racial thing. Utah's been known for their fans to be super racist.
But what does the knees thing mean? Does it mean like a slave auction or something? Did they used to get on their knees in the slave auction?
I don't know.
Because when I first heard it, I thought he was trying to say he was gay. He was like, get on your knees like you're used to. I thought that was him trying to say, like, get on your knees like and blow me like you're used to.
No, I saw it more of like a bow down to me type of shit. Like, get on your knees type of like.
Oh, okay, bow down.
You know?
Let me look up them. Maybe he'll say something.
But they showed other videos of Utah fans fucking with Westbrook. Like, there was one fan that yelled, like boy at him. Like,
oh, shit.
And then, like, Westbrook was, like, dancing. And he was like, yeah, blah, 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 boy. And Westbrook was like, don't call me boy. Like, yelled it to the guy. And then the guy, like, kept going and said it again. So Westbrook got a security guard to get him pulled out. But I've never been to Utah. But I'm sure there's probably like 8 black people in all of Utah.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And so, like, one of the 8 black people is the guy who ran for president.
Herman Cain?
No. Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
He's the blackest guy in Utah.
I didn't like his response either, though, because he said,
Westbrook?
I'll fuck you up, and then he paused and said, you and your wife.
Yeah, I fuck with him on that. Like, like if someone's saying some shit, I'm gonna fuck you up, and I'm gonna fuck everybody that's with you up. Even if I can't fuck them up, I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna fuck everybody up in your crew.
But the other thing I have with that is like, if you're the dude in public life and you're the dude that's on the stage, even when people are being super fucked up to you, as long as they're just using words, like, you shouldn't respond. That's my whole thing in terms of.
I agree to an extent, but at what point, like, are fans just allowed to say whatever they want to an athlete?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't make them right. Like, it doesn't make the people who are saying everything in the audience, it doesn't make them right. But I feel like it's incumbent upon the person who's the famous person who's in public life, where you should show more restraint, because it's par for the course. Like, you're going to Utah. The fans are probably going to be super racist. They're going to be mad obnoxious. So just go in there with that mentality and then just let what they say fucking be like whatever.
That fan probably would have got so much more mad if Westbrook just stood up and threw him a little wink or something like that, or like, a little like smiled at him, or
just act like you don't fucking hear him, man. Like, just act like.
But you gotta hear like that. They're human beings. If someone's saying some OD racist ass shit, like, you're gonna hear that. Like.
I know, but my perspective is biased because obviously with the show, we're some level of known. And I've always seen shit on Twitter, and I've always seen shit in the comment section that's just so over the top and fucked up, and that if I was like a petty little tyrant, I would go through and delete all the comments that I don't fucking like. But, like, I just made a decision, okay, no, this is the price you pay if you're going to be known at all. You're going to have a bunch of people who are going to say some shit, and you're not going to agree with a lot of it, and it's going to fucking piss you off. But you just got to be like, whatever, it is what it is.
I think it's also different, like, if you saw that guy in person saying that comment to you and you saw he was like a chubby fucking just nerd, instinctually, me personally, I've always just like had to fire back on some smart ass comment. So I'll just be
no, but I'm with you on, like, if Russell Westbrook wanted to fire back with a smart ass comment, but it was actually a smart ass comment, then I'm totally on his side and I'd be arguing for him 100. But the problem is he literally was threatening violence. Like, he was like, I'll fuck you up, you and your wife. Like, you're going to threaten violence on a fucking girl? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the fans. The fans are assholes, and I don't want that dude to feel like he should get off for what he said here. He should be getting a lot of shit, too. But I do feel like no matter what, there are always going to be fucked up fans at, like, basketball games and shit who are fucking with you. And if you just make a decision like that, I'm not going to take any of that shit that they say personally. I'm not going to let it fucking bother me. I'm going to act like I don't hear it. Then you're just going to be better off.
Yeah, but you don't know, like, his son could have been there or some shit, and here's this guy yelling it. Like, there's other levels to this shit. Like people have pride. They don't want to just get that shit yelled to them. Or, like, the son looks up to Westbrook, and here's this guy saying some racist-ass comment to him. Like, he's got to learn now, like, okay, like, I can't defend myself against someone saying some fucked up shit to me.
Again,
like,
if he fired back and he said, like, I don't know, you pick it. Like, what did the guy say to him again? Get down on your knees?
Yeah.
If he fired back and said some shit back to him, like, I'm sure you live on your knees or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Some quick-witted fire back type shit. I wouldn't care. I think Russell Westbrook would be 100% in the right.
Yeah, but what's the oldest comeback in the book? Your mama. And that's just like, you're making fun of someone's mama.
Yeah, but you can make fun of the mama, but you're not threatening violence on the mama. If you're saying, I'll fuck you up, you and your wife, like, you're going to fucking fight me and my wife? You're going to hurt us?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he shouldn't
have said that shit, that gives that guy an out now. Because now he gets to go around and be like, I can't believe he threatened violence on me. Yeah. How fucking fucked up is that? Whereas if he just fired back verbally and hit him with some just quick, good comeback, then nobody could have even debated it against Russell. People would have been like, yeah, that's what you get if you're fired.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes when you don't have that quick comeback, and this I've done that before. I'm just like, fuck you, I'll fuck you up, and that fucking person you're standing with, and yeah, like you just like you'll fuck him up even if you can't. You're gonna say you're like and Westbrook probably gonna fuck that guy up. But like you got to go after them and their whole crew, even if the crew doesn't want to get pulled into this shit. They'll be like, "What? I didn't say some shit." And they'll be like, "I don't care. You're with him. I'm fucking."
I think the other part of this is you could hear what Russell said. You couldn't hear what the dude in the audience said. Yeah. And that made it so that Russell always looks so much worse here because all you have on video is him saying, "I'll fuck you up, you and your wife."
Yep.
All you have is that. You don't have him saying a whole bunch. And he probably said way more than just the
100%.
Get on your knees. He probably, I'm sure that they've screamed N-word or something at somebody, you know?
Yep. And that happens all the time. I mean, that happens in fights and that happens in hockey or like it's usually not the person who starts the fight, it's the person who retaliates because that's the one who the referee will see.
Yeah, that's the one. That's a good point. Yeah,
that's who the principal will see is usually the second person.
Fighting in hockey is so dumb, man. Shit. They should stop that. They should literally stop that.
What?
Like you get like a 2-game suspension if you fight in hockey, and then there'll be no more fighting.
Oh,
by the way, these have you ever tried these?
No, Starburst gummies.
And they're good. They're soury and everything.
Oh, I think I have had those before, but I don't like the sour and gummies. And then does it have some jizz on the inside or no?
No jizz on the inside.
Oh.
They're banging. They're like all the other gummies we have, but these are Starburst brand.
There's so many types of fucking gummies. It's crazy.
I know.
In New Orleans, they had these like gummy weed trucks. It was like a green truck, and you could buy like lollipops and gummy bears and anything you could practically imagine.
That shit'll get you so high.
Oh, hell yeah. But I don't even think weed is legal in New Orleans. I think it's just like it's got to be legal because they have those trucks.
I don't think it is in New Orleans.
Well, they have weed trucks out there.
I'm going to look it up.
And they sell practically everything in those mofos.
Louisiana marijuana.
Is it legal?
I'm looking it up now. But anyway, hockey. You were saying something about hockey fighting.
Yeah, if they took fighting out of hockey, that shit would be the worst sport ever.
Nah.
The hockey is like people go to hockey matches.
Yo, people like it, but fucking get over it that they don't fight anymore. Imagine if they fought like in the NBA, like every 3 plays. You have any idea how racist NFL people would be describing it? They'd be like, look at these fucking, these N-words out there, these savages. They're fighting every play. We got a bunch of white dudes fighting. Everybody's like, woo, this is awesome.
Imagine at the NFL was like the game NFL Blitz where you can just straight like body slam people. Do you remember NFL Blitz?
No.
Oh, God. It was like the greatest video game of all time.
I was never a football. Well, when I was like a kid, I was into football.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't really around then.
Louisiana, I don't know.
I don't think it is.
It can't be. It's a red state. Is marijuana...
There's all fish and shit. I don't need any of that stuff, so...
I like how in every clip you were eating chicken. I fuck with that.
That one spot, chicken in a box, was legit. Like it was. I think it was in the hood. I don't know.
Oh, that was definitely in the hood.
Yeah.
That was right next to Holly Grove, son. That's right next to the Lil Wayne spot.
Someone wrote that they lived like 2 minutes from the shit and they didn't know about it. I was like, you got to go to that spot.
What?
And then there was Brothers Chicken. Oh, that chicken was so good. And like people were friendly in certain aspects. Like I got up to the chicken counter, and one of the dudes was just like, "You gotta get that shit right there." And I was like, "Oh, that's what I'm getting. I know." Like, so he gave me advice on to get the chicken like tender joints.
If it was like an old black dude, he's definitely 100% on point.
No, it was like a young black kid, like at like 2 a.m, and he was like, "You gotta get that shit right there." I was like, "Yeah, oh, thanks." He's like, "And put the seasoning on it."
That's
I was
what's
like,
up.
"Oh, that's what's up."
He gave you the perfect order, and you're like, "All right."
He gave me the perfect order, and like it was like some reassuring. Even though I was getting it already, he gave me like some genuine ass advice, like, "Get that shit." And I was like, "Oh, I'm already getting it." But if I wasn't getting that shit, I definitely would be getting that shit now.
That's fucking awesome. By the way, it's legal for medical reasons only. in Louisiana.
So that's crazy because they have like these, like every street corner was.
But that's what happens is like as soon as they legalize it for medical reasons, they set up a big ass infrastructure for it, and then people just abuse that system and treat it like it's recreational. That's always what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Originally in California, it was legal for just medical reasons, but you could see dispensaries all over the fucking place. And you go in and go to doctors and be like, I have a back pain, and they're like, here's a prescription for something that'll help you. You know, like it was just a thin veneer of legalization. But whatever, that's fine. I prefer it be just legal, but if you're gonna have medical and then treat it legal, basically, that's just as good.
Yeah,
or almost as good, I should say.
Yeah.
Did you see that that shit that happened in Texas? There on Twitter, some dude showed like a picture of his dad. It's this Asian dude, and he just opened up this small business donut shop, and he's got like all these like banging looking donuts sitting around. It's called like Billy's Donuts or something. And there's a picture of him like standing behind the register. And this dude, his son, tweeted like, "My dad just opened his donut shop and nobody's coming," with like the little crying emoji or whatever. Yeah. And then tweeted it out. The tweet went viral. Oh. And then that place sold out of donuts in like 2 hours.
What?
Line out the fucking door.
Now it's probably going to be the most popular fucking donut shop in Texas.
And it's in some random-ass place in Texas, too. I read the name of the city. I never heard of it.
Damn, someone should do that if they're single. Like, I won't say, like, someone, like, post a picture of their dick and be like, damn, this shit's getting no love tonight. It goes viral. I don't
think that the dick would go viral. People be like, fuck you, creeper. But if you post a picture of like an older dude who's like a little bit sad but not totally unattractive, and he's like, you know, my wife of 15 years died 5 years ago, and I finally feel better to start dating again, but now nobody will date me.
It's got to be his dick. And just he'll have a line out the door, just waiting.
A line of like old ladies with pot bellies smoking cigarettes.
No, but isn't that crazy?
Where's Craig's dick? I want to see his dick.
I saw somebody retweeted.
He looks like he manscapes.
Damn. Yeah, good for that donut shop guy. I mean, I wish someone did that with my fucking podcast.
We're doing it right now, man. People are going to watch that shit.
No, I want 13,000 fucking people.
13,000 is a tall order. But I bet you could double it in 2 weeks. You're at 2,500 now?
Yeah. And it's just,
you could double that.
Like a snail's pace now, though. It's going slow now.
Well, yeah, because you get the initial big bump when you first come out with it.
Yeah. But no, to that girl's point and to like your point, I give you a lot of credit because I don't know how the fuck you could stay with it. Like, I've had people reach out to me now that like some of my friends that like I met them either at a gym or some shit, and they're like, hey man, like I saw you're doing like the podcast, like I'm thinking of starting my own shit, and I'm just like, good luck, man. Like you're gonna give that shit up in like 2 weeks. Like, and I don't want them to, but like, unless you're fucking like, you got to be so mentally tough to fight through that shit. Because I was talking to Jed last night, and he was like, it was me, Dad, and you, like, and like maybe Kyle's mom or some shit, like listening back in the day to his shit, and he stuck with it, you know.
Yeah, that's true. No, you know what it is? It's you have to treat it like it's just a not debatable thing. Like it's non-negotiable. Yeah. Like the benefit for how I do it and for how other people who do what I do it is that we just have it on a set schedule. Like a lot of YouTubers do not have it on a set schedule. And what they'll do is, you know, I'll try to release maybe one video a week or one video every 3 days or whatever. Whereas if you do a political show and you set it up like a show where you say, okay, here's my show times, it's on this day, and here's when I do the prep, and here's everything that happens after, and here's how we structure it, then you know, you wake up and you don't have a choice. This is what I'm doing. So you just have to treat it like it's a full-time job, because it is. And then when you treat it like that, then you're going to end up pumping out content. Because it's 7/10 of anything is just showing up. You know? Yep. Like, that's the old thing, is that 7/10, I made up the numbers, but people say showing up is always the most important part, which is true. If you keep showing up, they can't deny you. So you just keep showing up, and then eventually people go, all right, I guess this person's just going to show up. And then they just get used to it, you know? Like, they get used to it. Like, how many old-ass people do you think when Bill O'Reilly's fat face was on TV for like 20 straight years on Fox News at 8 o'clock at night, how many old people do you think got used to just, oh, Bill O'Reilly's on, turn him on. He was the #1 rated because a bunch of old dudes were just like, I'm just going to turn this shit on and just watch it.
You knew he was going to be there, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just a matter of showing up. But that's the thing for you. For you, it's going to be a little harder because you don't have a show. You have a YouTube channel. So you always have to think of, well, what can I do now? I got to do something different, but I don't want to do some shit that's crazy different, but I do want to do something for the channel. So it's harder for you because the kind of content you're doing is regular YouTube content. It's not specific to a certain thing. Like there are people who are like makeup YouTubers. They have a clear mission. People who are political YouTubers have a clear mission. Yours is just a YouTube channel about Corin.
Yeah.
So it's going to be...
I agree.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder. You know?
I think the chats are good. I think I'm going to start doing the chats on like Thursday night and post them on Friday. So that's sort of like something structured that I'll have in there.
Where you talk to people?
Yeah, where I talk to just like some of my boys or something like that.
Yeah,
like
that's a good idea. But everybody's going to get jealous. They're going to feel like you're cheating on me.
I know. And that's why, I mean, like, when I come back to New York, we're going to do some shit, you know. Maybe we'll just record the poker game that we play for like 2 hours.
Basically, I mean, look.
And it's just be like a World Series of Poker on our channel.
Kind of. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it because it's your channel, but my advice would just be to treat, when you come back to New York for a little bit, dude, just treat it like, walk everybody through your whole experience. So in other words, me and you could think of some shit to do. Maybe we go to Chicken Joe's. Maybe we sneak back into high school. Maybe we'll figure out something, and then we'll have a bunch of shit, and you could just splice it all together, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, because I travel a good amount, I'll do, like, those vlog type shit. So, I mean, like, it'll all come together eventually. It's starting to come together a little bit, which I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, which is good. And once 13,000 more people subscribe to Corin's World after
I like how you have this number, but then when you hit that number, you're going to just come up with a new number. That's always how it works.
No, I'll be happy with 13,000 because I'm at 2 right now, and if we've got 15,000 viewers for this shit, all 15,000 should fucking go to Corin's World and put a comment in my fucking comment box. Like, I'm one of 15,000 right now, and then the next person can be, I'm 2 of 15,000.
I'm telling you, once you hit that number, you'll be like, yeah, but why not another 1,000?
I know, and I had this conversation with Jed last night. It's just like all these fuckers that are paying for their kids to be photoshopped into a fucking canoe to get to USC. Like they, like I forgot. Someone had a conversation. It might have been with Rogan or some shit. but they were like, when I was 19 or some shit, I looked at myself and I was like, if I had $500,000, I'd be the happiest person in the world, and you know, I'd ask for nothing else. He was like, and then I got $500,000. I was like, I need $1 million, you know, and he was just like, his dad called him because he wasn't happy and he had like a whole shit ton of money. And he was like, you remember when you were 19 and you said if you had this amount of money, like you'd be super happy? He was like that's like, you got there, you know, like chill out. So 13,000, I'd be happy.
There's something in human nature that's going to make you keep going for that next goal.
Exactly.
It's being a human. That's what it is.
And there's good levels of shit to strive for, you know, like if you have a Mercedes, you don't need a Bentley, you know, like there's just like
but you know what? When it comes to doing this, you just got to enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Like you just have to enjoy doing it. And honestly, I think you do. And if you don't yet, you will, because what's the downside of just walking everybody through what you're doing? Like there's it's actually pretty cool. I really
enjoy the like talking to people type of shit. Like on some regular people type of shit. Like I'm gonna have Molly's brother on, who's like a firefighter, and I'm genuinely interested in like talking to him about like his day-to-day fighter shit, you know, like the shit he sees in Rochester, New York. Like all these people who go on Rogan or like Conan O'Brien shit, like we know all these motherfuckers' stories already, all these celebrities. And like if he does have some firefighter type dude, it's like the #1 firefighter in the world who's like who could like fucking, you know, repair and put a building out of fire in like less than 20. Like it's someone crazy that like isn't on the ground level actually dealing with crackheads or like people who jump in front of the fire truck. Like I want to talk to her brother because like he's doing that type of shit and not like the CEO of some crazy firefighter company that like, and I think people relate to that shit. And like,
damn, you're the populist Joe Rogan. You're the populist Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is the elitist Joe Rogan. You're the populist Joe Rogan.
No, I'm not like shitting on the people like he has, but like David Goggins is like the most extraordinary, like incredible guy who's running these crazy marathons. Like, what about just a normal ass dude?
That dude creeped me out, man. That dude creeped me out. He was on like a week or two before I was on.
Yeah.
And I was like creeped out by him. He was too intense for me. I was creeped out
by that fucking YouTuber guy, man. He was so weird. The dude who was there before you.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't know us and we don't know him, so it's not like.
Fuck that guy, man. He was like, I'm from New York. I was like, oh, what part? He was like, New Jersey. I was like, yeah, that's not New York, motherfucker.
He said New Jersey.
He's like, yeah, but I play in a frisbee league in New York. I was like, okay, no, still, not New York. I've been to New Jersey.
That dude's got a giant following, man. Don't put him on blast like that.
That guy, man. Fuck him. Like, I was trying to small talk with
Next
him.
time we're at Rogan, he's going to be there, and you're going to feel awkward as fuck.
Fuck that guy. I was like, oh, you won an award last night. That's what's up, man. That's really cool. And he was like, yeah, Maybe he just didn't want to talk to me, but like...
Some people are like that. I think if you watch his actual podcast, it was like that, too. He just has a personality like that.
Yeah, like a fucking snail.
Hey, man, not everybody's fucking outgoing and gregarious. Is that a word? Did I just make that up?
Sounds like that's the shortstop for the Yankees, Didi Gregorius.
Gregarious, I said. All right, I'm going to look that up now. But yeah, by the way, you never even told me. Tell me off air. Don't tell me here. The exact dates that you're going to be back here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we could do some. We could do a bunch of shit and make a dope like vlog out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. No, but I like the YouTubing thing. I think I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with it. Like I said, the chats are good. The vlogs, I still got to get a little bit more comfy. And then I think I got to like offer some other shit. You know, like it's like. There's got to be something else.
You're doing a bunch of stuff.
Like
I mean, whatever.
Off for 5 minutes.
Play with it, dude. Play with it. You know, like you got all these options in the world. You know, but it is good. Like you get to travel a lot for your job, so you get to go a bunch of places, and then you can record it all, and people enjoy it. You know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm into like doing some daily type of shit where it's like recapping sports.
No. Daily's a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah.
Daily's a pain in the ass because then now you're always behind. Like, I felt like that all the time when I was doing a show 5 days a week. Yeah, I woke up and literally the way I described it to people when they asked was I wake up and no matter what time I wake up, I'm 3 hours behind schedule. That's how I described it. Doing it daily.
Because the news is just happening so fast, like.
Because there's so much shit I had to do in one day that no matter when I woke up, I needed to go into hyperspeed to make sure I met my deadlines to get to the show.
Yeah.
In fact, here, I'm going to give everybody...
that shit would stress me out.
Let me give everybody the math. So I'd wake up at like 9, and then 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Basically, it was 16-hour days times 5. I was working 80-hour weeks. 80-hour weeks.
That's wild.
80-hour weeks I was working. So yeah, and now I still pump out a shitload of content, but I'm basically working 40 to 50 hours a week.
Still a long work.
It's still a normal work week, but it was 80 fucking hours a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so people don't see that part of it. And if you were to try to do something daily, I'd warn you against it because but definitely just pump out as much as you can, but you got to do it. You always have to be inspired by something to keep going forward. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So as long as you keep just going wherever that inspiration takes you, it'll be good.
What inspires you to do this shit?
I'm never not interested in politics. I'm always interested in what's happening because politics is everything. Like that's the best way to describe it to people who don't think about it and don't, wonder about it and don't worry about it. It's that literally anything you can name is related to politics, is linked to politics. Doesn't matter what it is. You could say, hey, man, my grandma's sick. Okay, is she old enough for Medicare? Okay, this is all politics. Damn, my grandma's sick. She's got, stage 4 cancer, and she's in excruciating pain, and she says she wants to go, like she wants to be done. Okay, well, then that issue is physician-assisted suicide, euthanasia. That's 100% political. Only like 4 states allow that,
As you're saying this shit, I'm like trying to compare it to sports and like a daily sports shit, and it's just like, hey, my grandma's super sick, she's dying. Oh, nice. Is she a Yankees fan?
No,
like,
but
yeah,
sports,
man.
there's stuff to talk about every day. But the thing is, it's got to be like there's got to be some sort of controversial thing happening, so it's debatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the thing is, there's always debate in politics because at least like about half of the country is always going to be fucking dead wrong on a certain issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's always going to be, and the Republican Party always dragging us in a draconian, primitive direction, and then the Democrats barely fighting back. So there's always something to talk about in politics.
Yeah.
You know, like just everything relates to it. Even just, you know, hey, I like to drink alcohol and my buddy likes to smoke weed. Well, what your buddy does is illegal. What you do is legal. What your buddy does is not as bad of a drug. What you do is a worse drug. And there's just always a political angle to everything. So it makes it easy to talk about it because I think what drives me is the same thing that drives a lot of other people who do lefty things, whether they're activists or whether they're politicians or whether they're concerned citizens, is that we feel like we're so far away from where we need to be in this country that you can't afford to not do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the appeal of Bernie's candidacy is I think that a lot of people get on some level that here you have this dude who's in his late 70s who definitely does not want to be doing what he's doing now, but he's doing it because he feels like he has to. That he knows that he's the only person who's really going to fight hard enough to deliver the kind of change that we need that he doesn't even view it as an option. He's like, I have to do this. You know, like I have to run, I have to try to win, I have to do this because we got to fight to get these things done. We're so far behind schedule. So again, to bring it full circle, it's like Bernie's waking up in the morning and he's like, we're 3 hours behind schedule with this country. Like we got to do it, you know?
Yeah, and I respect that about him.
No, hell yeah, for sure.
And I'm not the best because I don't know too much about her, but is the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez like? She's smart, right? Like she's doing good things because like, and I know a lot of Republicans put out these crazy memes about her and shit. Is that because they're like just scared of her and worried about the shit she's doing?
Yeah, when the right goes after her, they're trying to. It's the old Karl Rove trick. You take whatever your opponent's strength is and you make it their weakness. And they did this to John Kerry because George W. Bush was like a fucking cokehead and he was like a failed, you know, he just failed at everything in his life. And then John Kerry, the story was that he was a war hero. And then what the Republicans did is they tried to paint him as the opposite. And they went for Kerry's strength and turned it into his weakness because they hammered away. So when you look at it, you don't have the Republicans going after Amy Klobuchar, who's, you know, running for president and she's a centrist and she's totally uninspirational and she has like -6 fans. So who are they going for? They're going after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Why? Because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, all these policies she's proposing, just like Bernie, they're all massively popular. She has a giant social media following. She might have the biggest social media following in all of Congress. Yeah, and she's a fucking freshman congressperson. Yeah. So yeah, they go after her because she is smart and because she is fighting on the right issues. And if you'll notice, a lot of what they do is they just flat out lie and take her out of context. Yeah. Like they'll try to pretend like, oh, she said this fucking crazy thing. And then you actually look at what she said and it's like, she didn't say what you're saying she said. Like, and like they go after the Green New Deal. They try to pretend like, oh, she wants to ban planes. Oh, bitch, you just made that shit up.
They'd be like, oh, she's a hypocrite because she drove in a car to get to that meeting.
Yes, they said that. They literally said that. Like, how stupid are these people?
Oh, they got mad because she was eating a hamburger. And
no. Her chief of staff was.
Oh, yeah. Someone's eating a hamburger.
Yeah, they were like, oh, but we thought you wanted to ban cows. She was like, what? I didn't say that.
Oh, man.
They got nothing. This is what they do when they got nothing. It's like they're doing with Bernie. They went after Bernie this week. You want to know why? They found a video of him from like the 1970s or 1980s where he said the word Niggarldy. No, DLY. That word is niggardly. Okay, you know what that means? It means stingy. It is in no way, shape, or form related.
Racist shit.
Yeah, to Nigger.
Yeah.
It's not at all related to it, but they were like, oh my god, what he said sounds kind of like it.
Oh.
They went after him for that, dude. They went after him for that.
And that's why I respected him on the Breakfast Club when he was just like, you know, when I had to think about running was just like these people are going to dig up stories on me and, you know, if they can't find anything, they can dig up stories on my wife. And it's just like, people fucking just dig up any story, like, and that's why Charlemagne like read an article and he was just like, "Where's that from?" You know, like it's just like anybody could write anything.
Yeah, yeah, it's fucked up, man. And then they get
fucking idiots picking on that article. They'd be like, "Oh, it said you once fucking put your dick into an ice cream cone at a Mr. Softy." Just like, what? I gotta defend myself from that shit now.
Yeah, there was another one they went after him for this week. Apparently, in like the 70s, he was arguing for like nationalizing like every major industry. He was like, we need to nationalize the banking industry. We need to nationalize the energy industry. And like, I saw it was CNN, I think Andrew Kaczynski. Hope that's his name. Sorry if I'm fucking that up. But he tweeted that. He did the story. And then I read the responses on Twitter. Everyone was like, kick ass. I love him even more now. Oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Wow, Bernie's the shit. Like everyone was like positive, 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 positive. It was like every time they try to attack him, it just backfires.
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, they can't get him, and Trump can't get him either, man. Like that's why Trump doesn't really say shit about him because
I know. You notice he kind of like cucked to Bernie a little bit the other day when they first brought him up when Bernie launched. He was like, "Yeah, I like Bernie."
Yeah. No shots fired, like...
Trump is a good crowd surfer, dude. Trump is a good, like, he'll be like, where's that wind blowing? Okay, it's blowing that way? Oh, yeah, totally. I'm like that, bro. I'm totally like that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a good crowd surfer where other politicians are kind of clunky and they don't know how to feel out of room. Yeah. Trump is like, oh, shit. He probably knew, like,
Beto waving his hands around in the fucking karaoke bar.
We haven't spoken about Beto. Okay, let's finish with this. Let's talk a little bit about Beto, then we'll wrap it up. But, god damn it, man. He is really way worse than anybody could have imagined, huh?
He's pretty bad.
Dude, you saw that video, right?
Well, here's my theory. I almost thought, like, he had been advised, like, wave your hands and do crazy shit the whole time so you get media coverage on it. Because his shit got noticed by a lot of fucking people. And if he were to just announce his shit regularly and stood on that stage and been like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and people would just be like, oh, boring, next. But, like, since he was, like, a fucking one of those, like, car wash things outside of, like, a fucking car wash that just waggle back and forth, like, it was all over mainstream media because they were, one, making fun of him, but, like, it was coverage.
Yeah, but it didn't help him, though. It hurt him, actually. He was trying to pretend like, well, our first day fundraising numbers will set the tone for how viable our candidacy will be. And then the second day in, they were like, Beto, do you have your first day numbers yet? He was like, I'm not going to talk about that. So in other words, his first day was straight ass cheeks. And then he's like, oh, shit. Anyway, yeah, no. See, what happened was we lost the numbers. We never even looked at the numbers, bro. What do you mean numbers? What's a number? So, yeah, he fucked up, man. He fucked up.
I think you tweeted some shit. You was just like, you almost won Texas because you were running against one of the, like, the worst fucking human beings of all time.
Yeah, the only reason everybody was really excited for him is because he was up against Ted Cruz, who's, like, literally the worst politician in America. So everybody's going to fucking love you. You know, like, it's... Yeah. Anybody looks great standing next to fucking Charles Manson. Yeah. Everybody looks like a fucking saint next to that guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why do you think all these pretty girls... like the rest of the girls in their group are fucking hideous because they want to look better, and it works. It'd be like 5 girls and 4 of them are hit, and one of them is just like, you're like, oh, she's the best looking girl of the group. That shit is strategically done.
And he fucked up too because he could have won a Senate seat against John Cornyn. Cornyn, however you say it. He's a senator from Texas. He's up for election in 2020. And everybody was trying to get Beto, like everybody. This is one rare issue where even like corporate Democrats and fucking the left, like we all got together and everybody was trying to convince Beto, like, dude, run for his Senate seat. You can win it. You almost beat Ted Cruz. You could definitely take that guy's Senate seat. Just run for Senate. Because he had said after he lost to Ted Cruz, he was saying, I'm not going to run in 2020 for president. I'm not going to do that. And then now he's running for 2020 for president. What the fuck makes you think this dude looked at a field with 1,000 people in it? Yeah. We got Cory Booker. We got Kamala Harris. We got Kirsten Gillibrand. We got fucking
Bernie.
Andrew Yang. We got Bernie Sanders. We got Tulsi Gabbard. We got Marianne Williamson. I don't even know who the fuck that is. We got Jay Inslee. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
That one guy with the bald head from Wall Street.
John Delaney, yeah. The Nutsack Boy. That's his nickname. I just made it up.
Nutsack Boy.
Nutsack Boy. We got Nutsack Boy running. We got like 10 people running, dude. and you jumped in like the world must hear my milquetoast bullshit. He's so bad. He's trying so hard to be Obama. He wants to be white Obama, but it's so like it's manufactured. And then what I want to say to you is that what we need to do is we need to come together and we need to be virtuous together, and we in this country can defeat anything if we join ourselves in hands. And we.
What do they gain from running?
He thinks he's gonna win, bro. He thinks he's gonna fucking win. He's all hype, dog. And you know what? He already fucking shit the bed. First of all, he did this Kamala Harris fail trick where he launched and people were like, all right, cool. What are you running on? And he was like, what?
He had no platform.
He didn't even release a policy platform. He fucking launched. He had nothing about policies on his website. He just had merchandise. He had Beto merchandise. And people are like, dude, what are you doing? And then they fucking... They asked him about, like, what are your thoughts on Medicare for All? He gave, like, a word salad where he was basically like, no, I don't think we should do Medicare for All. Dude, you're fucking shooting yourself in the foot, you dipshit. Like, all you had to do is say, like, you're for all the, I'm for free college, or I'm for Medicare for All. But he can't help himself because he's word salad man. He's all over the fucking place. He just can't help but do the vague platitudes and the fucking fake inspirational bullshit. You know what? He appeals to a very specific kind of Democrat. He appeals to older Democrats, and he appeals to lonely housewives. That's who he appeals to. Like the Generation X and Boomer Democrats. That's who he appeals to. He does not appeal to millennials, and he's not going to appeal to millennials. And he's not going to go anywhere with millennials. And my guess is he's going to peter out, and he's going to fail pretty badly.
Yeah.
There's just no there.
Is the guy Martin O'Malley running again or whatever?
No, but funny enough, Martin O'Malley, you know who he endorsed? Beto O'Rourke. Who's his fucking... Martin O'Malley was the 2016 version of Bet on My Stork. You know? That's what he was. He was the dude who was, like, overly fucking coached and too calculated and never really spoke about policy and just kind of flailed.
Can I get a word in? Can I get a word in? Can I get a word in?
And everybody, even, like, the audience was like, no, you can't. Shut the fuck up. Like, it wasn't even Bernie and Hillary. Bernie and Hillary were like, all right, go ahead. The audience was like, shut the fuck up, bro. We don't want to hear you.
The moderator was like, you're not winning. Like, I got to go back to Bernie or, like, Hillary. Like, they're like, Martin, sorry. Unfortunately, you don't have a chance. Like, we're gonna put this one on Hillary.
That dude was running for president in 1982. Like, that's how he was running, as if it was 1982.
Like, what does he gain from that? Because no one fucking remembers him, and he probably spent a shit ton of money to, like, do all that.
Well, that's what's going to happen with Beto, too, is that he thinks he's going to win, and then he's going to fail miserably, and then nobody's going to remember him now. If he just stayed in everybody's head as, like, oh, my God, he's the guy who almost beat Ted Cruz, and, oh, now he's going to run against another Republican, and he might actually win this time. Like, that would have been great, but he's not going to do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no shot.
He really fucked up. It's his ego, man. His ego got in the way. He got a little taste of that celebrity.
Yeah, he saw Beyonce tweet at him. And
he got a little taste of the celebrity. Exactly. And then now he fucking ruined it. He absolutely ruined it.
Yeah, well, shout out to Beyonce. If you tweet at me, maybe I'll think I'll run for president, too.
By the way, they did this. The media did this with Republicans, too. Like, back in the day, before the 2016 presidential race, they had, like, Marco Rubio was on the cover of magazines, and they called him the Republican savior. And they acted like he was going to be the next big thing, and then he fucking failed and got, like, no votes. And they tried to do this with Chris Christie one time, like, the next Republican great, you know? And then this happens. The media has their favorites. They prop them up. Then when those people fail, they just act like they never pretended they were their favorites, you know?
Yeah. Because the same shit happens in sports. They fucking make a crazy-ass prediction. It won't come true, and they won't bring it back up.
You probably don't remember this. In golf, there's a dude named Ty Tryon who was supposed to be the next Tiger Woods, better than Tiger Woods, some people said, because his amateur career was out of this fucking world. And then he got to the PGA Tour, immediately shit the bed, and I don't even know if he lasted 3 years out there.
I never even heard of him.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the next Tiger Woods, and then he just totally collapsed.
They had that with a soccer player. There was like a 14-year-old kid, Freddie Adu, that was supposed to be like the next fucking greatest thing, and he was on like David Letterman and shit. Fizzled out. Played in like the MLS for a little bit, but no one fucking ever, mentioned it again.
What's gonna happen with the dude who's on the Lakers who's supposed to be hot shit?
Lonzo Ball?
Yeah, what's gonna happen with him?
Who knows, man? He's soft. Like, he'll get traded in the offseason or some shit. But like, I'm tired of LeBron. I'm tired of fucking LeBron.
I saw you going at him earlier. What do you do? Why don't you like him?
Everything he does is scripted, and it's just like he's not. You don't know you. It's just he's got everything down to a science, and it's just like he's so robotic that it's just he's not a real person anymore, you know. And it's like it's frustrating because after every game, he'll go up to the top player and he'll do this shit. He'll be like, yeah, and like he'll say his shit so you can't see what he's saying. But the Lakers are out of the playoffs. They're, you know, he wants news stories still around him. So after the game, he goes up to Kawhi Leonard and says like, blah 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 blah. Oh, we'll keep in touch. Like, knows the camera's on him, no covering his mouth, knows it's gonna get attention, and it's just like everything is so scripted and regimented. And this is something that bothered me too. Is like right after the playoffs, right after the All-Star game, he goes, LeBron playoff mode activated, which is supposed to be like he shuts off all social media and really locks in on his team. And then he's still on Twitter fucking retweeting like Larry Johnson clips and all this shit. And it's just like, oh, so you're giving up on your team? Like, what happened to fucking playoff activated LeBron? And like, none of the media reports on any of that shit. And it's just, it's annoying. I mean, it is what it is. He's a fucking multi-billionaire or whatever. But like, he gets me frustrated because he's a baby.
What moves do the Lakers have to become a decent team though now in the offseason?
I mean, they still got LeBron. They got a lot of fucking like pieces. Like Lonzo is a good prospect. A lot of people would want him. Kuzma's good. Ingram's good. They got young guys that they could like trade for. And because they're doing bad now, they'll have a shot at a really good draft pick, which Duke's playing right now. And there's a kid, Zion Williamson, that's just like...
People were saying he might come to the Knicks, though.
I hope so. If he comes to the Knicks,
Really? He's that good?
He's just so exciting. He's really good and like...
What is he?
Oh, Tiger is tied for 39th. Carded at the 7th at the Island Green 17th hole.
Yeah, Tiger hit it in the water twice at the 17th. He made a quadruple bogey.
Is that one that's like on an island?
Yeah, it's one of the most iconic holes in golf, yeah.
I feel like he would have that, like...
He kind of got fucked. He kind of got screwed a little bit. The first shot landed like 2 inches too far, and it like rolled ever so slowly and just like dribbled into the water. And then the second shot...
those guys play that hole so much. Don't they know that shit like the back of their hand by now?
Dude, it is so much harder. My buddy Brian played at TPC Sawgrass, which I've still never done yet, even though anybody can play it. So at some point I have to play it because it's like a dream. But my buddy Brian played there, and he said the 17th green... In real life, that shit is a little speck in the middle of an ocean. Like, it is really hard to hit that green. It is really hard. Like, you have no margin for error. All it is green, and then immediately around it, all water. And it's like a 125-yard shot, which is really not a long shot for golf. But it's so easy to just pull it by a hair, push it by a hair.
So it's not like it's some shit that you could just have down. Like,
nah.
One little thing could throw it off.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure if you look at Tiger's stats... He's played this hole, let's see, he's probably played this hole, what's 20 times 4? That's 100, right? No.
2,000.
80. He's probably played this hole 80 times, okay? So, and out of 80 times, he's probably hit in the water 3 times, 4 times. But still, it's, happens from time to time.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were we talking about? Zion. I was asking you, what is Zion? Is he a center? Is he a...
He's like a hybrid. I mean, he could shoot from the outside.
So he's like LeBron? He's like he could do anything type?
He's like built like a Charles Barkley. He's like an undersized power forward.
Like power forward, okay.
Like he's got fucking bunnies for days. Like he could bang on you from like 3-point line. He could shoot threes. He's a good kid. He's fun to watch.
I want the Knicks to get him.
I know.
I really thought the Knicks were making moves for Kevin Durant and maybe Anthony Davis.
And they still have their draft pick. That's what I'm saying. They can get two free agents, have Zion.
Yeah, but the problem is now nobody probably wants to come play for the Knicks because of Dolan.
I was going to actually upload a video just talking about, he did an interview with Yes Network where he just rants for an hour. And it's just, he is just the worst. He is the worst. He's like, the 2 people that he kicked out of the arena had that shit premeditated and like they knew what they were doing. And everybody was just like, you responded to them. Without you, they don't have their video. You know, like,
exactly.
All they said was sell the team.
Yeah.
It wasn't some
and they're right. And they're right.
Yeah.
And they're fucking right. Everybody in New York agrees with them, asshole.
That's just like if you're walking and someone just yelled to you like, do your radio show. And you're just like, what? Fuck you. Like.
All right, on that note, let's call it a night. All right, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.
13,000 people.
Yeah, everybody go subscribe to Corin's World. I guarantee you it's worth it. I know I've enjoyed watching their videos so far.
Thanks.
But anyway, love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. We're out. Peace.